Welcome to Significance Breeds Success. My name is Daniel Puder. I'm your host. Today, I'm excited because I've spent some time with this guest, dinner over at my house, her and her husband, rock stars. Aimee Tariq is a rock star. She's an author. She's a speaker. She inspires and motivates and tells the truth. Her book is Panic: Germs and the Truth Inside American Mouths. So Aimee, why just inside American mouths? Why not like the whole body? Do you just like the mouth for some reason? What's going on here?
Yeah, so all of this book is all about the oral microbiome. So what's happening in our mouths. And it's all about dentistry and how it affects the body as a whole, because so many doctors, they think the body starts below the neck, but the body includes everything, our head to our mouths, everything. And so what happens in the mouth affects the whole body. It can affect diabetes, it can affect heart attacks, it can affect strokes, it can affect high blood pressure, it can affect so many things.
So I agree with you. You know what's the craziest thing I saw? And it doesn't do with humans, but it does with dogs. So people buy like automatic water feeders, like purified water for dogs. And then dogs go and lick everything, right? And I know they're set up differently than we are. I think a lot of people don't understand. Well, we're never taught, right? Anything to do with like, maybe like basic digestion. But what are a couple of the tips you can give somebody to add value to their health?
Absolutely. So the mouth is like the first stomach. So whatever we put in the mouth, it starts already pre-digesting with the saliva, the chewing, everything. So it's really our first stomach. And so we know that the bacteria in the stomach matters. Well, now we're learning the bacteria in the mouth is just as important. So in the same way, if we were to take an antibiotic, we know that that wipes out the good and the bad, and that we might have to follow up with like a probiotic, a yogurt, something like that to bring in the good stuff. It's the same sort of idea with the mouth. If we use a mouthwash that kills all germs in the mouth, then we're basically doing the same thing. We're destroying all the good with the bad. So it's best to use like a probiotic like coconut oil to do like a mouth pool. That helps so much more than a mouthwash that's going to kill all the germs in the mouth. And that's just one of the basic things that we can do.
So you and your husband get to travel a lot. He's been on my podcast, and he's a rock star. Absolutely love him. You guys have such a cute story too on how you met and how you got together originally. I love it. Let me ask you, with writing a book and transforming people's lives, like how did you get the ideas about creating this in the beginning? Like why these topics? Why do you why write a book? Like, and what else are you doing to add value to other people?
Absolutely. So I've always wanted to write since I was a little girl. I was 3 or 4 years old and I was typing away on my mother's typewriter. I have a few writers in my family. I have an uncle who wrote lots of books in Mexico, and he was a big force in my life. So I always wanted to write since I was a little girl. Now, did I think that I would write so many successful books at such a young age? Absolutely not. That was a huge surprise even to me, but I do know it was something I always wanted to do. And I chose this topic, health, because of everything that I've been through regarding health and how I wanted people to know that there are so many paths to healing. It's not a one path fit all. And with each individual person, there's an individual path for them. And with this book particularly about the mouth, I was just surprised at how the mouth affects so many systems within the body, and so many people are completely unaware of it.
So, and I agree with you. I've heard a lot, but I've never read about it. So I'm excited to read your book. You can get it on Amazon. I saw it on there, correct?
Yes. And it's a Wall Street Journal bestseller. It's a Barnes & Noble bestseller, an Amazon bestseller, everything.
Nice. Well, you're obviously adding a lot of value to people and they want to learn about it. What I find that's interesting around these COVID times is people, okay, so we have these masks, right? Where, they say if it gets in your mouth or your eyes, potentially you can get COVID. And what's crazy is, and I'm not sure how this relates to, what you wrote about, but people touch the inside of their masks and they put it on, or they put the mask somewhere, lay something on top of it, and then they put it back on. And I'm thinking to myself, we will spread COVID, from my opinion, from what I've seen other people do, if you're not intelligent and monotonous about how you take care of your mask and where you put it and how you clean it and all these different things. You will get COVID faster because you're just touching everything and everything's going in your mouth. Are spread of disease or viruses a part of what you guys talked about in your book?
Actually, a little bit, yes. So what's interesting is that if the microbiome is balanced between the good and the bad bacteria, it has all the defenses needed so that bad bacteria can't thrive within the mouth. So really, it's more important now than ever to make sure that you have a healthy balance, because it'll prevent the bad bacteria from taking over and really spreading throughout the whole body, because there's bad bacteria connected to the mouth that can cause pneumonia. And that's a huge thing right now because so many people are getting pneumonia because of COVID.
Wow, that's incredible. So I Googled you and stuff pops up all over the place. Holistic medicine, entrepreneur, health, you're on Thrive Global, entrepreneur. You got your social media stacked with LinkedIn, Facebook. What does it take to build a brand today? Because obviously you're really rocking how to put together a great brand, in 2020.
Thank you. The most basic thing is just having social media lined up, content pre-made and on a schedule so that you don't have to worry about it. And then, of course, getting features into big news publications and things like that, which right now is probably the most difficult thing to do because of all of the world events happening. They're not really very interested on any certain person because of everything that's happening. So, yes, getting featured, and, I was a contributor to many, many platforms. And I think I started this process, way back in high school when I would, work with media and publications and stuff like that. So it's been a long road.
So you and Aimee are super cute pictures on like red carpets too. How does it play in your career or with having somebody also that is in the same sector, somebody that, adds value to your life? I mean, there's super cute pictures of like the one on Thrive Global, super cute of you guys. And I know Aimee does a lot online and social media, building companies, selling them. How does it add value to your professional and or your personal relationship, having somebody in the same world that you guys can get to work together and really build each other?
Well, I am really able to push him to do a lot more PR and marketing and stuff like that for his own brand, because sometimes he likes to stay in the shadows. And he's really able to help me get certain connections, because sometimes as a young woman, I'm not taken as seriously. So it's really helpful to have a man be that voice for me sometimes.
Do you find that as a team, you guys have a bigger purpose together? Because I find a lot of people, one of the people in the couple, like I'll give you this. So the 100th podcast is coming out tomorrow, my 100th podcast, right? And I'm actually doing it today with my fiance, Deanna. You met her. And it's interesting because, we work in the same world, but it's different companies. She has her company, I have my companies. What kind of advice can you give people? They can have their different companies, but they could be in different worlds too, but they could continue to maybe work together on a project or work with each other to build each other. Do you have any advice on that?
Absolutely. So just making sure that you're both supportive of each other's dreams and that, both of each other's times is equally important, and not one person's time is more important than the other, and just remembering that when one person wins, the other person also wins, and that it's a team effort. It's just the best way to do it. I see so many people, unfortunately, competing against each other, and just remembering that, it's a team. So I think that's an excellent way to do that.
Yeah. So when you were a kid, you said you did a lot of writing. And I find that a lot of people hire writers today. They don't necessarily like to write their own stuff. But maybe an entrepreneur doesn't have money to be able to pay somebody to write yet. And I like writing stuff personally. I also know that I am not the best writer compared to other writers. So what kind of advice could you give to a young writer today, or a young person that wants to get articles, that wants to build their dream? Because writing, voice, video, all three of them are big. And what really drove you to write when you were younger?
Okay, so the first thing I would say is just going on YouTube right now. Since COVID is happening, there's so many English teachers who are on YouTube. Google some English teacher classes. It doesn't matter if it's high school or college level or whatever, and just take some English classes on YouTube so you can learn, the basics of grammar, the basics of writing, and read grammar books. Like Elements of Style is my favorite. One of my writing style that I have that, everybody notices is that I don't have a lot of fluff, that it's very direct, and that every sentence I write is meaningful, because I truly believe less is more. And I really got that from Elements of Style, and there's so many other writing books out there. So I would definitely recommend taking some classes on YouTube or wherever, and reading some grammar books if you're interested in writing. And yes, as a child, I was always fascinated by writing and reaching people and all of those things. And it just it came with me as I grew up. In high school, I won writing competitions, and that really excited me. And it was so interesting because after I got the Barnes & Noble bestseller, my mother showed me a picture of how something I forgot, how when I was in high school, I won a Barnes & Noble writing award. And so my mom was so excited because she's like, look, Aimee, you come full circle. You used to be in writing competitions at Barnes & Noble, and now you're a bestseller there. So it's just something I was really passionate about, a way to express my thoughts in a way, complex ideas in a way that people could understand, just simplifying those. And it's a way of me teaching people and teaching complex ideas, and also just expressing myself in ways that I might find difficult verbally.
Wow. How do you spend your days today? What do you do? Do you wake up? Do you meditate? Like, a lot of successful people these days are like, I wake up, I don't watch my phone, I meditate. For me, I do the opposite. Get up. I love seeing what's going on in my life. I'm already feeling good. I just slept. How do you spend your day?
So I've recently recovered from 4 fractures, 3 in my arm, 1 in my shoulder. So before that, what I would do is I would do yoga. I would work out every day. I'd have my vitamins, have my breakfast, meditate, and then use my planner and journal, and then do all my work and my errands and stuff like that. So I had my mornings really down. Now, I have a choice to go back to that, but I'm actually enjoying waking up and just not having necessarily that same routine. So I've just recently healed. It was interesting because they said that maybe I wasn't able to do this ever again, but I'm doing it perfectly. So I'm really excited about that. But I've just recently healed, and I'm thinking about going back into that. But right now, I'm just really enjoying just being in the present moment as soon as I wake up. And